Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, pacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, rocks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. 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 Burning rubber, tires screaming, engines go berserk. Pit stop precision like surgeons at work. Wheel to wheel, hands on the grip, no chill. Broadcast live, peacemaker keeping it real. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. 360 on the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checkered flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. On the asphalt, danger a flirt. Every lap closer, the tires eating dirt. Peacemaker's lens, the hype ignites. Streaming the chaos under neon lights. Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, adding flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, box flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, as these drivers are ready to get to battle. They are ready to duke it out here this evening for what will be another exciting night of racing action. As these drivers all loaded in, ready to rock and roll, ready to try to put themselves onto the pole here as our qualifying session has gotten underway. Right now, you take a look at that beautiful Ally Chevrolet of Mr. Mickelson out there on the Speedway as he comes down across the line. He does, we're gonna get scored in there right there. Unfortunately, not really the best lap time. Still scored back in 19th. We do see Applegate and his fish speed number 57 jumps up into 11th, so Applegate finds a little bit more speed there on his second lap, as Jack Buelty, though, does have the pole position right now. We'll see if any of these drivers can knock him off the top spot. It looks like everyone else that unfortunately did not get a qualifying lap in will not get a chance, will not get an opportunity to try to steal the pole away from them here this evening. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to rumble here for this A-Main feature event, as the 27 ride of Jack Buelty will qualify in the pole position. We'll wait for these drivers to get loaded in down pit side, and we'll get ready to set them loose, get them rolling out there onto the Speedway, slowly rolling these cars out onto the racetrack and ready to get after it. But Jack Buelty does pick up the pole here this afternoon, so he will start in the pole position to his outside. Welcome back there. It's the 16 of Matthew Wood, who will start in position number 2. Starting in third. Great qualifying run, great drive there for the 15 ride of Stephen Blevins. Blevins will start in third. Take a look there at Blevins' ride as he is down pit side here. Get another angle at it. He's not out there yet. We do see Trent Johns out there in the 4th position here. So Johns will start in that Black Rifle Coffee Company. That's a beautiful looking ride out there tonight, man. That thing is looking fresh out there, as Johns will start there in 4th. There's Blevins down to his inside. Michael Ponder Jr. in the 13 machine will start in 5th. To his outside in the Princess Towing number 2, it's Landon Burbage starting there in 6th, starting back in 7th in the number 64 ride. It's the Alabama machine, the Roll Tide ride of Mr. Trevor Dyer. To his outside in the Cheez-Its, the Cheez-Its number 60, Ryan Haller will start there in 8th. Starting back in 9th will be that Rush Hour Karting number 31 of Joseph Smith. To his outside in that Flex Seal number 17, it is Jason Bogart. Starting back in 11th. In the Red Bull number 57, that is Grant Applegate. To his outside in the Buffalo Trace number 71, that is Brian Matthews. Starting back in 13th in the Shell Pennzoil number 22, it's Gary Rose. To his outside in the Valvoline machine, that beautiful looking number 5 ride, the Raising Cane's machine of Xavier Rugglebrugge. Will start there in 14th. Starting back in the 15th position in the 55 ride, it's the Celsius machine of Nick Jensen. To his outside will be the 61 of Nicholas Wheeler, and then we will see the number 98 of Thaddeus Thriel Jr. starting there at 17th. To his outside, the 77 is Caleb Holloman. Wyatt Mickelson starting back in 19th. It's Colby Wells. To his outside there in 20th. The FedEx Cares number 11 machine of Jaden Browder will start in 21st. To his outside, that is Aiden Lucas in the number 34 ride, starting there in 22nd. The 37, it's Evan Stewart, who will start there in at 23rd. To his outside will be the 23 of Austin Thompson. Then we do see the Monster Energy number 35 of Cooper Goodwin, and the 66 of Ben Neatis there in position number 26 in the Culver 66 ride, bringing up the rear of the field. As here we go, ending all of the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here this evening from Echo Park Speedway, formerly known Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now it is Echo Park Speedway, and quickly it's the 27 of Jack Buelty who will lead us down and out of corner number 2 as they're stacked up 2 by 2 by 2 back there behind them. Everyone so far pretty cordial, Pretty easy going, not too many big moves. I think everyone's just locked in to try to get some laps clicked off here, not wanting to run into early issues as this race goes on. As we start to click off, 3 or 4 laps, drivers maybe get a little bit more chilled in, maybe a little bit more room to make some moves out there. That's where we could probably start to see some drivers starting to slice and dice their way through the field or start to fall back. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, but you do see the 16 rider, Matthew Wood, steamrolling back to the outside here of Jack Buelty. Buelty will beat him back to the line here. So the 27 machine still out in front, still leading the charge here this evening as the outlier Speedco. 16 rider Matthew Wood trying to hang tough there in the outside lane. Unfortunately there, just not a great quarter two, but there we go. There's a first big move in the front of the field. Wood says, all right, you're going to go to the high side to try to throw a block. I have just enough of a hole to slide down in front of Blevins, and he does take the inside lane, but does not take the race lead. The 27 ride able to stay just in front of him, but we'll see if Wood can get some of those shoves, some of those runs that we saw Jack getting from that inside group. If they can kind of get bound together again, see if Matthew can try to make a challenge here and try to make a run to try to steal this race lead from the 27 ride. But so far, I mean, Jack Buelty showing a ton of speed in that 27 car, but nice and easy backed out across the line. I would still say by inches. The 27 ride holds on to the race lead here. Only 4 laps in, but man, it's been exciting here already. These drivers are not backing down. I thought maybe we'd see a few more takers kind of fall to the back, maybe try to play it a little bit safe, a little bit easy early on, maybe fall towards the rear of the field, try to play it safe, try to keep yourself back there out of trouble, out of any, carnage that can unfold out there on the Speedway. Here in the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League, there are no quick repairs. So unfortunately, you get tied up for the big one here, and when we wreck at Atlanta, they all tend to be really, really big. The hits here are really, really solid. It's not like Daytona or Talladega where you have such an enormous amount of racetrack on the apron or through the corners or anywhere else to try to make a move or to find a hole. The holes here, they close up really, really quickly, and unfortunately, the speed that you carry at such a short distance around this racetrack, not a whole lot of room for error out there on the Speedway. So for these drivers, they got to mind their P's and Q's and hope for some good luck on their side to try to keep themselves alive here this evening. As Anna says, hello everyone. Sherholler says, hello everyone tonight. Have a great race. Shout out to Peacemaker. Shout out to Mrs. Holler coming in, showing the love. As here we go. We do see the 8 able to make some moves. Trent Johns jumps down in front of Matthew Wood, and Wood pushes the 8 right to the point. So 7 laps in, and we see our first new race leader, and it's this beautiful number 8 ride of Trent Johns, who finds himself out in front. Look at this beautiful ride here. This is the 5 alarm, no artificial flavors, engine 8. It's the Black Ridge Coffee Company. Okay, so it's a different coffee right there. The fire alarm, engine 8 fire coffee. Okay, that's cool. I thought maybe it was going to be an actual municipality coffee place or something on there, but definitely got the firefighter vibe to it. And I mean, being called the engine 8 or the fire alarm or 5 alarm engine 8 coffee, I mean, definitely going for potentially some of those big coffee drinkers in our fire stations and keeping them awake and alert all night long. And from what I've heard, I've never tried the Black Rifle coffee, but I've heard that it's really, really good, and someday maybe we'll get it to try it. That is for dang certain. But you do see the 8 right at Trent Johns out in front here, as Greg Dyer in the chat says, let's go Trevor and Van. The VAN rides out there on the Speedway right now. Trevor in his VAN number 64 finds himself back in about the 11th position. I believe one of his teammates A little further back, Thaddeus Thriel there in position number 22 right now in this 98 ride. We'll see if he can work his van ride up towards the front of the pack here as Thriel Jr. scored back there in 23rd. 22nd right now is the Culver's ride there to his outside. But you do take a look back here, you do see a few of those drivers maybe try to play it a little bit safer. When you look at Jaden Browder, you look at Nick Jensen, and the number 22 of Gary Rose as Mrs. Rugglebruggy in the chat as well says, let's go, boys. Have a great race. Great to see Mrs. Rugglebruggy in here cheering these guys on. As, oh, we do see Mickelson in the fence. Look out. Everyone spreads out down the back straightaway. No caution flag. It stays clean and green, but Mickelson, hard contact there into the fence, and it looked like somebody may have gotten in to that left rear quarter panel of the 51 ride as well. Let's take a look back and kind of see what happens here. What gets kind of going wrong for this number 51 ride as down through corner number 1 and 2. Oh, it just looks like he starts to push up the racetrack. He's rolling out of the throttle. There he is into the fence. Bounces off the wall. Unfortunately, just kind of snap hooks, cracks itself back up into the wall. The 35 ride gets some pretty solid contact there into that left rear. That's that left rear damage that we did see, but you can see the damage there on the 51 ride as he rolls down the back straightaway into corner number 3. So a tore up right front, and unfortunately a tore up left rear as well. Therefore, that number 51 Machino Wyatt Mickelson here to start this race. Now, luckily enough, it's still early. There's still a lot of time to shine here, so we'll have to wait and see if he can work his way up towards the front. As Sherhaller says, it's firemen that sell their own coffee. Okay, so it's firemen that sell their own coffee. Okay, so it's not like a Black Rifle coffee? Or is it firemen that like created it and now they're like partnered with Black Rifle? That one's an interesting one. I'd have to look more into it. I'm definitely intrigued. Because it does say Black Rifle Coffee Company and then the fire alarm. So I'm assuming it's like a fire alarm coffee, but I'm assuming they just sell it to Black Rifle and they distribute it, sort of deal. And Sleepy J in the chat says, give it time. The Prophet will get ahead. Number 31. Cheering on that 31 machine. Hoping to see Joseph Smith work his way towards the front and using his nickname there, the Prophet. Well, right now the Prophet rolls in about 7th. Looks like the inside lane sticking good together right now. Outside lane starting to fall apart after that issue with Mickelson. We see the field kind of get broken quite a bit up here as right now about our top 18 all still in this lead pack. Top 18 all still there together. Unfortunately, a little farther back, you do see the second pack being led by the 35 of Cooper Goodwin, Thaddeus Thriel Jr., Jaden Browder's in there, Evan Stewart's there as well as Ben Needis and Nick Jensen, Gary Rose. They're in 25th. Unfortunately for Mickelson, with that damage, he's lost the draft. He's back here by his lonesome, just hoping that he can keep himself on the lead lap and keep himself pointing the right direction here to try and come out of this with a good, solid top 15, top 10 run. If he can try to get some repairs, if we can get to that stage break, it would really help him out. Or if he could catch a caution flag, could definitely work into his favor out there on the Speedway. As each and every one of these drivers, man, trying to make sure they are trying to put themselves into a winner's circle here this evening. As 23 of Austin Thompson. Okay, no, he's in the red one. Okay, so that's the one that he was looking for. All right, he messaged me about a new paint scheme there. So new looking ride here as well for that 23 ride. Looking fresh out there on the Speedway here this afternoon. We're loving this. The fish speed brakes. Trying to see what the side of that car says. Looks like it says like Manchester or something. Let's see if we can get a little left rear look at it here. So Manchester tank. Some of these companies, man, I'm gonna have to look into. Try to figure them out, see what they're all about. That's for certain. Up here in Canada, I never heard of that name before. A lot of these companies we've never had up here in Canada. So unfortunately, we don't get a chance to really, experience them or really know what they're all about. But we'll definitely have to look into them a little bit more. As Anna says, sure, Ryan is doing great. Ryan is doing pretty great right now, just inside our top 10. You take a look there at that Kroger Cheez-It number 60 ride. The Cheez-It Machine Man looking absolutely fresh out there on the Speedway. Looking solid here this evening as Trent Johns, though, out in front, continuing to lead the charge here, man. That Black Rifle Coffee Company number 8 ride of Trent Johns continues to lead the charge. Nice and easy back down across the line. Will lead lap number 21 here this evening. Wood sticking right there with him on his back bumper. The 2 right of Landon Burbage there as well in that 3rd position. Our top 3 are still single file, but you can see that outside lane trying to get something going, trying to get some momentum up here, and every once in a while you see, Landon kind of comes up and oh, look out! That's Hauler sideways. Oh, no! Hauler's around. Looks like he's not going to get too hard into the wall, but I believe the 17 of Jason Bogart may not have gotten as lucky. Let's take a look back here. He's out at corner number 4. Bogart's in the back of this pack here, and unfortunately for Hauler, man, this is just a tough spot right here. Looks like Caleb Holloman pushing his back bumper through the corner. Gets in there. 60 kind of goes up a little bit more to the middle. 77 just sticks underneath of him, but gets a good run through corner 3 and 4. So you can get another angle at that. So hard to get angles here in Atlanta, but right here will be a good shot of it. So the 60 just up a little bit. 77. It's a good run. I don't know if he tries to get underneath of Hauler. Nonetheless, just kind of gets into that left rear, and it just hooks him around. In for Hauler at this point, he's just hanging on and hoping for the best outcome. Does get some good damage there from the 60. Looks like the 57 ride also getting some pretty solid contact into the 60 and into the outside fence. And this is where you see the 17 ride of Jason Bogart. Man, it's a big hit for Bogart. Big hit there for him. That may be a day ender right there for that 17 ride. I think for Hauler, most of the damage may just be, pretty minor here. Contact between him and the 57 into the back bumper. Even this contact into the back bumper doesn't really hurt that race car. The initial contact getting pushed by the 77. I think that could do him in, but for right now, it's Bogart that gets the worst end of the deal here. Just that slight contact just kind of pulls that 17 ride back up the racetrack and into the outside fence, and that is a big hit there, man. That is a huge hit for the 17 ride. Unfortunately, he's down pit road getting extensive repairs here on that 17. You do see Applegate's down there trying to get his car fixed up. Mickelson's down there as well. So luckily enough for the HM teammates here, they were one of them kind of got tied up in that wreck with Hauler going around, but for the other one, Mickelson desperately needed that caution flag to get his chances to start hitting pit road, try to get some repairs himself, and try to get this, beautiful number 51 ride a little bit more repaired and back into the battle here this evening. And luckily enough, had not lost a lap out there, losing the draft. As you do see Colby Wells also down pit side. He's trying to get some of that damage repaired. Did see Cooper Goodwin. He had some contact and damage after Mickelson got in the fence. He got into the back end of the number 51 ride, so we end up with some pretty solid right front damage on this 35. So a lot of drivers down pit road trying to get their cars fixed up. Hauler was down pit lane as well, and I mean the crew's done a great job. Any kind of body damage that was dealt has been repaired, and 60 ride looks absolutely fixed back up and ready to keep on rolling again out there on the Speedway. Sure, Hauler says, FDC Fire Department coffee, QVC says, okay. I'm assuming that they probably make their own, but maybe they just did a partnership with Black Rifle. Yeah, fire alarm refers to the 5 alarm. Yeah, that's what it is. I keep thinking fire alarm, but it's 5 alarm, not fire alarm. So it's the 5 alarm roast from the Black Rifle Coffee Company. It is a full-bodied medium roast coffee created to honor firefighters and first responders. A portion of the proceeds from this blend supports firefighter and veteran causes. All right. So it's not the same thing that you're thinking of, Mrs. Holler. It is a Black Rifle thing. The 5-alarm coffee from Black Rifle Coffee Company. Pretty easy to find that one, but see if we can take a look here at the back. Yes, Black Rifle Coffee Company, but it is a Black Rifle coffee blend is what it is. It's just a 5-alarm roast from Black Rifle. So that's interesting. As here we go. Back to battling, and here we go. The number 2 ride gets a big shove from the 34 of Aiden Lucas. Lucas will push him out in front, but then leave him high and dry. Jumps to the outside of Landon Burbage. Burbage will fall back in behind him here. Is Aiden able to take a great run right there and work his way around the number 2, but where's he going to go? Back down low, back up high. Looks like he's just going to jump down in front of that number 2 machine and keep that number 2 back there at bay. But Burbage was able to lead a lap, and now here comes Matthew Woods storming back to the front here in that outside lane, getting a big shove from that Manchester tank, number 23 of Austin Thompson. And Thompson trying to work his way to the point here, working his way up through the field throughout this race, getting a little track position, and now here he is sniffing some fresh air onto the nose of that Toyota Camry and looking to try to work his way to the race lead as they'll be door to door, back down and across the line. Give that lap lead to Matthew Wood. So Wood still able to keep himself just in front of that number 23 ride. You do see Jack Bealty right there. That's our pole sitter in the 27. Second back in the outside lane, stuffed in between Matthew Wood, our race leader, in the 8 ride of Trent Johns. In Lucas down low is showing some great speed here this evening. And for Lucas and Thompson, is Thompson back down across the line. I believe he may have led that lap. So a new race leader here in Atlanta is the 23 of Austin Thompson. Jumps out in front. Man, what a run, what a drive right there for that number 23. But now I think he got the lap led and just quickly falls to the back of the pack. This is honestly a pretty smart move right here. Out of the 23 ride, he led a lap. He may have gotten any bonus points that came with it and just quickly pulls to the infield and lets the field go by. Unfortunately, fell so far back that he's now lost the draft, but I believe we're close enough to the end of this stage that we shouldn't see a caution flag, but he'll try to keep himself alive and try not to get his car tore up and taken out here this evening. As the 16 of Matthew Wood out in front will lead us back down through corner number 3 and 4. Across the line, once again, they will complete lap number 31. So 31 laps and now completed here this evening as we inch closer and closer to the end of our first stage of the day. As our first stage will come to a close here at the completion of lap number 45. So lap 45 will be the end of stage number 1. Lap 90 will be the end of stage number 2 of this 185 lap feature event from beautiful Echo Park Speedway, as Wood and Bealty lined up 1 and 2 here right where they kind of started. Bealty was our pole sitter. Wood started on the outside of the front row. They swapped spots, but still right there tight together, as you do see Trent Johns, Aiden Lucas door to door right there behind him. But outside lane, great run right there, and Luke is going to quickly jump down to the inside here. He's going to work his way underneath the Jack Bealty. Bealty I'm not sure if he's going to have any help. Oh, he just finds a hole in behind Lucas. Trent Johns couldn't quite get there quick enough. And now here comes the 8 ride. He'll look to the outside as that's the 2 of Landon Burbage. And the 31 of Joseph Smith trying to work their way to the point here. So they are rolling that outside lane really nicely right now. We'll have to wait and see if they can find a lane, if they can make the right moves at the right time to try to work their way to the point here to try to win our first stage of the evening. Is some tight racing all over the speedway here this evening as BSC ran right in the back of the 60 car. He definitely did. It happens, though. It happens. Hold steady, Landon. Hold steady, she says. Where is Fisher being? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure where Jordan's been. Was he? I don't think he was here last week either. I mean, maybe just vacation. You know, summertime, maybe a little vacay or something in there. But yeah, it has been a week or two that we haven't had Jordan Fisher out there on the speedway as this hauler says, come on, Ryan, you can make it up. I'm for all firemen. My dad was fireman. Oh, let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome. We love that. We love that. Anyway, we love companies that support our first responders, whether it's police officers, paramedics, you know, or firefighters, man. We love all of them, man. We love all of them, and love companies that do, you know, throw in that support and help them out and make their lives just that little bit easier. As we do see Daniel in the chat. Daniel comes in, says, let's go Jensen and Stewart. Cheering on Jensen and Stewart out there on the speedway here this evening. Both drivers started a little deeper in the field, and as of right now, oh, big hit there for Caleb Holloman. Oh, man, that was just in front. Oh, and Daniel, this one's on you, Daniel. This one's on you. This was a jinx, brother. You jinxed him. You came into the chat, you cheered him on, and you jinxed him. As we do see the 55 right, Nick Jensen does get turned around there in that. Now, luckily enough, doesn't look like he's got much damage out of it, but it does start with the 77 ride of Caleb Holloman here. Oh, there's a little smoke before that as well. Where do we see Caleb? So there's the 77, the Dr. Pepper ride here. This is going to kind of get the party started here with this 7 machine. Now, we do see smoke just in front of these drivers. Take a look and see kind of what that was from. Okay, so right here you see the 34 of Aiden Lucas kind of gets onto the apron right here. Looks like he tried to shoot it underneath of the 8 of Trent Johns. Johns just closed down in front of him, make a little contact, and he gets real sideways. And I think when that happens, it starts to stack these guys up. And as they get stacked up, unfortunately for Caleb Holloman, it is not going to work out too swell for him. As out of core number 2 here, they start to stack up. And he tries to go up the racetrack right there. The 98 right had already kind of shot it to the middle. And it's a tough area to get an angle at. Let's see if we can find one here as you're going to see the 77 just come up the racetrack here. The 98 ride's already kind of there and gets a good run because he doesn't have to really check up because he's got to jump more into that middle outside lane. He kind of comes down, 77 kind of comes up, and unfortunately they're just not clear, and that puts that 77 up and into the outside fence, and you got to wonder what kind of damage may have been there for the 11 rider, Jaden Browder, as well. As Browder, you know, was kind of parked right inside of that 77 as he crashed up into him here, and unfortunately as the 98 gets checked up, that's where we see Thaddeus get turned. Him and Nick Jensen get tied together here as Jensen not expecting it, and all of a sudden slides right on in there. There's a big piece of that left rear of the 98 ride, and that shoots that van machine around. And for the VAN ride, going the wrong direction, sliding backwards down the back straightaway. Now, luckily enough, both for the 55 and the 98 ride, I mean, fairly minimal contact and damage for both of them. And could have been a whole lot worse if one of these other drivers may have ran into them, or if they ended up into a safer barrier, could have been game over. But luckily enough, fairly minimal damage to their race cars. Now, we do see a slew of drivers back down pit road, including Caleb Holloman, trying to get a lot of damage repaired here on this 77. He may be down there for a very extended period of time. That right front, unfortunately, not even pointing in the right direction. But we do see Mickelson Colby Wells, Cooper Goodwin. There's Gary Rose rolling back out there. Jaden Browder's rolling back out on the Speedway. Same with the Applegate there in that Red Bull number 57. Unfortunately, I do believe Caleb Holloman and Jason Bogart have both taken their cars back down behind pit wall. So the 17 and the 77 both look like they may have had their nights come to an early close here this evening, and that is just the hand that you're dealt when you come to a racetrack like Echo Park Speedway, man. You just never quite know, and unfortunately sometimes it's out of your control, it's out of your fate, and you just kind of get tied up in other people's action. That's kind of what we saw with Jason Bogart there, just trying to squeeze through there, trying to keep himself out of the carnage. Unfortunately, just gets clipped into a fence, and unfortunately repaired. You get the lucky dog back here at the stage, but I mean, still in the lead lap, still very much in line to try to jump up there, make some moves, maybe battle potentially for the stage win right here as we go back to Green Flag Racing. As you do see, the 23 has some pretty solid front end damage on that 23 ride. We'll have to take a look back and see, you know, kind of the contact that's on there and what's gone wrong there with Austin Thompson. But you do see on the restart, good launch, good jump there for the 8 ride of Trent Johns. Johns able to slide right back up in front of this 16 machine of Matthew Wood. Wood and Johns have been working well together all night long. And for right now, that beautiful Black Rifle Coffee Company number 8 ride continues to lead the charge. Continues to keep himself out in front. And if he can hold on to it for another 4 laps, could potentially pick up our first stage win of the day. But the Prophet, Joseph Smith, right there behind him, does not want to give it up. We'll see if this Rush Hour Karting number 31 machine will make a move and try to steal the stage away from the 8 and 16 rides out there on the Speedway. See Landon Burbage trying to jump up into that battle. You do see Aiden Lucas getting a big shove there from our pole sitter, the 27 of Jack Buelte. Buelte's now going to jump to the inside here. He's looking for a big run. He wants to work his way back out in front. He's going to have Landon Burbage pick him up here. That may make this inside lane come back to life a little bit. And now it's decision time. If you're Matthew Wood, if you're Trent Johns, which lane do you go with? Which one do you feel may push you to the win here in our first stage of the day? As, oh man, things are getting chippy. These pushes are going a little farther, a little harder, and unfortunately that's where we start to see a lot more slip-ups and a lot more mistakes out there on the racetrack, and that can tear up a lot of race cars. And there it is! There they go! Thaddeus Friel Jr.'s in it. Evan Stewart's in it. The 61 of Lucian Thompson. The caution flag will come back out, and that will end our stage. And it is the 8 ride of Trent Johns who will pick up our stage win here in our first stage of the day. Matthew Wood will come home second. Jack Buelte's back in third. Landon Burbage will come fourth in the stage with Joseph Smith, Aiden Lucas, Stephen Blevins, Brian Matthews in 8th there, getting stage points. And Ryan Haller, looks like Haller's been able to join the top 10 for some stage points here himself. See exactly where they score this number 60 ride, but we'll take a look back and see kind of how this party got started, because unfortunately there was a few drivers that win a round, and actually it's not Lucian Thompson, the 61 ride here tonight. He has a substitute driver. It is the 61 of Nicholas Wheeler. And looks like Wheeler in the 23. Oh, man, Austin Thompson, new paint scheme, already had some damage on the front of that race car. Unfortunately, gets a whole lot more damage there down the back straightaway, man. There was a couple really big hits in there. Let's see if we can get another look at another angle at it here as... Man, this is a couple big hits. Haller is right there behind these guys. And, I mean, for Haller, he's able to squeeze through that right now. Looks like he's... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cars in front of them, and I think 3 disappear. So it may have been a top 8 run there in the stage for the 60 ride, and for Haller going to get out of this with maybe some stage points in that first stage here this evening. But right here, 23 kind of shoots down just a little bit, making that corner. I even may have gotten a little contact from Haller. I think Haller kind of comes up maybe just a little bit. The 23 may coming down just a little bit. Nonetheless, they do make a little slight contact, and it just kind of shoves the nose of the 23 down into that right rear quarter panel. The 61 washes back up the racetrack here, and you see the hits for Thaddeus, for Nick Wheeler. The 23 right Austin Thompson tore up in it. The 51 right Wyatt Mickelson's going to get some more contact and damage there himself. And here comes that outlier Speedco number 37 of Evan Stewart, also tied up in it. But watch this number 23, man. Big hit there as well for Austin Thompson. Back down into the infield safer barrier. And that's just going to be a whole lot more damage repair here for this 23 ride. Let's see if we can jump on board with him, see what he can see from the cockpit here as he's trying to keep this 23 alive out there on the speedway. Trying to make some moves, trying to look for the middle right there, and unfortunately, not what you want to see. And man, just right there, gets clipped again, shoots him down into the infield fence. Big contact there, man. Big hits for him, for Wheeler. Wyatt Mickelson getting tore up quite a bit in that one. I think even Colby Wells may have gotten a little piece of this as Wells was trying to squeeze through there. I think that the 45 ride is a little farther back, but you see Evan Stewart just up in front of him here, and these drivers all stack up, and everyone just, okay, roll the throttle, get down low, hope to avoid it, and all of a sudden you just see all these cars come back down the racetrack at you. I think he just avoids getting collected right there. Just far enough down that he does not get collected by Austin Thompson there. And luckily enough, able to keep that 45 ride alive out there on the speedway. But unfortunately, a lot of tore up race cars out there on the racetrack, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. And we do have ourselves a new race leader. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Kroger number 60, the Cheese Hit Ride, who was down pit road not too long ago, so had a bit of a shorter pit stop there. Ryan Haller able to get a quick pit stop in and beats everyone off of pit lane. And now for Haller, he's got the race lead. He's got control of this restart as we get ready to get back to battle here this evening. Santa says 34 is making me mad. Oh no, ain't it? That's Mr. Lucas. I'll tell him, hey, gotta stop it. You're making people mad. He's gotta be okay. As here we go, back to Green Flag Racing here in this one, as Greg Dyer says Thaddeus 98 can't catch a break. Second time tonight. Yeah, Unfortunately, sometimes you're the ball, sometimes you're the bat, and unfortunately, it seems like it's there's a few drivers every week that tend to always be the ball and not very often be the bat out there and just being on the wrong side of the stick. And unfortunately, he's gotten tied up a couple times, but Thaddeus still in it, still looking to win it here, even with some damage on that 98 ride. On the lead lap, the Van Machine rolling right there, just a car in between him and his VAN teammate there, the 64 ride of Trevor Dyer just in front of him, as I'm sure they'd love to get lined up, but out in front, getting a great shove in the outside lane from Trent Johns. It's Landon Burbage who takes over the race lead. So Landon now out in front, leading the charge in the outside group. He's got Trent Johns right there on his back bumper. For Haller down low, he's hoping to get a little bit more support here, a little bit more help to his back bumper. Stephen Blevins there behind him with the 55 of Nick Jensen, hoping to try to get that inside lane rolling a little bit better here. They do have our pole sitter, that number 27 of Jack Buelty down there with them. So you'd imagine to see maybe that groove, rolling a little farther forward, a little bit stronger out there. But I think just the gap between the 27 and that 22 ride, the Shell Pennzoil machine's got to get a little tighter right there. You do see him start to reel into this 27 ride, and now here we go. Gary Rose is there, so now maybe a little bit more organized on the bottom groove, a little bit more speed, and Landon Burbage gets that information as well, and he jumps down there, blocks the run from the 60, down back up high to block the run from the 8 of Trent Johns. Unfortunately, Made the wrong call down through corner number 3. Haller gets a great run, and it looks like Haller will reconsume that race lead down across the line. So Haller scored as our race leader there for lap number 51 here this evening, and hoping to try to keep it that way. As Anna says, way to go, Ryan and Landon. As here we go, we do see one driver. Looks like he's going to bail out of it. He may have saw something that we didn't, and it's the 55. Nick Jensen, who says, all right, things are getting a little too racy, a little bit too crazy. And he jumps to the back of the pack right there. So he jumps backwards, let's these guys go. And not going to try to put up a fight, unfortunately, though, for Haller in the inside lane. That kind of loses them a lot of momentum. That extra car, that extra bit of push, unfortunately, really hurts them. And you do see the inside lane start to fall apart again here as the 64 and Trevor Dyer, he's trying to get going. He wants to get up there. He wants to be all over the back bumper of that 27. Unfortunately, the 22 rider, Gary Rose, maybe just not as strong of a pusher out there. He's getting pushed pretty hard. He can take the pushes, but unfortunately, it's had a struggle. He's kind of lost the car in front of him a few times out there throughout this run, and it's killed a lot of momentum in that inside lane. And every once in a while, they do kind of get wound back up, and we'll see how long he can stay there. But you've seen the 64 trying to poke his nose underneath of that 22, trying to shove him and work him into the middle, so that way he can try to work his way around and maybe trying to spit him towards the back of the pack right there. But unfortunately, has not been able to make that happen, so he's still stuck in behind that 22. Gary Rose as of right now, and out in front. It is a battle here between Mrs. Haller's favorite and Anna's favorite. Is Landon Burbage, Ryan Haller, door to door here at the front of the field at Echo Park Speedway. Who is going to get it done? Who will pick up the win? Who will pick up our second stage win? As we still have some points to hand out a little later in this race, as lap number 90 will be the completion of our second stage. You do see the 23 machine rolling back out there onto the racetrack. That is Austin Thompson. Now, unfortunately for Austin here, still quite a bit of damage on that 23 machine, and he has already fallen. I believe he's now fallen 4 laps down out there on the racetrack. It is going to be tough to try to get 4 laps back, to try to work your way back into the action that way. And unfortunately, his Fish Speed Brakes teammate, Colby Wells, has also lost a lap. So Wells was down pit road there. Did look like he took maybe a little bit of an extended pit stop, but unfortunately for the Fish Speed number 45, does find himself a lap down. He is currently the first driver 1 lap down out there on the racetrack. So he is in line for the lucky dog, but that's only for right now, because Nick Jensen, who went to the back of the pack there, jumped out of that top groove there, trying to keep himself out of the chaos and out of the hornet's nest. And unfortunately, as he went to the back end down through the apron, lost a lot of speed, lost a lot of momentum, could not keep up with the tail end of the field. And you can see him out here riding solo out there on the speedway, and it's probably not going to be long before our race leaders track him down and put him a lap down as well. And that could be bad news for Colby Wells. That could take him out of that lucky dog position. We'll have to keep a close eye on it right now. Nick Jensen is about 14 seconds behind our race leaders. He's running about a 1.5 seconds slower than our race leaders as well. So every lap, you got to imagine that he's losing 1.5 seconds out there. You know, that's 10, 15 car lengths. I mean, it's not going to take these drivers long. I'm going to say probably somewhere around 10 to 15 laps. They may be putting that 55 ride a lap down out there on the speedway. So Nick Jensen's going to have to try to hang on to it and hope for maybe another yellow that, you know, can kind of keep him on the lead lap, keep him back in the battle as he can tag on to the tail end of the field, as we do see the 8 rider Trent Johns and Matthew Wood work their way back to 1 and 2. Wood has been pushing this 8 rider Trent Johns a ton here this afternoon, and Johns has been able to do a great job hanging on to it here. Wood is definitely one of those front runners that we always look towards and look to see what they got up their sleeve late in these races. And right now, I mean, he's right there. He's been working hard. He's been up inside the top 2, top 3, 4 pretty much all night long. And here he is again, sitting in second, just feeling okay, feeling pretty comfy here, just pushing this 8 right of John's around the racetrack and trying to maybe help him out a little bit points-wise here as well. So we'll have to wait and see if Wood does try to steal maybe a stage win away from that 8 ride later on in this run, as they have completed lap number 61, and we're down to, 29 laps left to go here in this stage. Stage number 2. Stage number 2 will come to a close, will be completed at the completion of lap number 90 here this evening. So now down across the line, completing lap number 62. We got 28 more laps left to go here in this second stage. And for Matthew Wood, Joseph Smith, Landon Burbage, and obviously for our race leader, Trent Johns, they're absolutely loving it here at the front of the field. Hayden Lucas right there in that 5th position as he rolls around the outside of Ryan Haller. Haller does fall back into 6th, and as these drivers continue to click off these laps, it'll be interesting to see not as many yellow flag laps here in this stage. Will fuel potentially become a problem for some of these drivers by the end of our stage, especially for some of those cats that are up towards the front of the field. They're a little bit more on it, they're a little bit more aggressive, maybe burning a little bit more fuel, being fully into the throttle. When you're a little bit more mid-pack to the back of the pack, you can save a little bit of fuel. You can roll out of it, be a little bit more easy on that throttle, you know, maybe coast a little bit more through these corners, saving that extra little bit of fuel that could help you out later in this run if that fuel does become a play out there later in this stage. But for right now, Trent Johns, he's just on the throttle, and he's getting a lot of help as well from that 16 of Matthew Wood. Wood has been pushing hard here, keeping that 8 ride out in front. You see the 34 of Aiden Lucas back up and into that 3rd position in that beautiful GOAT Racing diecast number 34 ride. Smith falls in line behind him. They're in position number 4 as Landon Burbage rounds out our top 5. Burbage going to leave the inside groove, jump to the outside lane here as Haller down low, unfortunately starting to see this inside lane fall apart more and more here. He's lost a lot of help, lost a lot of drivers that could help potentially drag him to the front of the field here and push him up there. And right now he's kind of stuck a little farther back, just trying to keep himself inside the top 10. Know that he wants to be able to try to go after some stage points, and he may have to wait for somebody to jump down in front of him, kind of help him out, draw him along a little bit more, and try to work his way back up a little farther in this field before the end of our second stage of the evening. But for Trent Johns, Matthew Wood, Aiden Lucas, 1, 2, and 3 out there on the Speedway, man. These guys have been solid all evening for Johns and Wood. Started up there at the front of the field. Wood started in position number 2 for Trent Johns. Started back in the 4th position. So they've both been up there. They've been battling here for the race lead and at the front of the field all evening. When you look at Aiden Lucas, Aiden started all the way back in 22nd. He's had to work his way through the traffic, has had to kind of get through some of the carnage, and for that 34 ride right back up here in this top 5 and looking strong here in this race. It'll be fun to see what he may have up his sleeve a little later in this run. Joseph Smith right there with him. I think we kind of got robbed of a really good finish there in that first stage when that caution flag came out, you know, with a couple laps or a lap left to go there in that stage. It seemed like things were really shaping up to kind of get a little crazy there. Unfortunately, didn't get to see that with the yellow, but maybe we'll see it here in this second stage, but things have definitely gotten a whole lot more single file. Unfortunately here for Haller, still back there, still in the bottom groove right here, hoping to get some sort of help, hoping to get some sort of momentum. And now you do see Evan Stewart, he's able to work his way up the racetrack, and for the 60 ride of Haller, kind of a sitting duck out there on the racetrack right now. Not a Licka help to his back bumper. Just gonna have to try to side draft like crazy, or trying to find a hole, jump in line, and go to go to the little train battle out there on the speedways. You do see that number 55 of Nick Jensen going a lap down here. So Jensen does lose a lap. We'll have to wait and see. Colby Wells, unfortunately, a little farther back. Looks like Wells, Austin Thompson, who's back down pit road there with his damage, but Wells, I believe that is Nick Wheeler back there with, I believe that's Michael Ponder Jr. and Grant Applegate back here as well. So, few of these drivers maybe playing a little bit more safe here. We see a couple of the Fish Speed Brakes rides back there, and Ponder's back there with them, and that beautiful number 61 Aleutian Thompson there as well. But they do find themselves quite a ways away from the rest of the pack here already. They are about 6 seconds back behind this lead pack, and you can see this lead pack, it's just kind of lost that little bit of rhythm there. No longer door-to-door, single file, and I think for drivers like Trent Johns, Matthew Wood, Aiden Lucas, they're absolutely loving that. They know that this single file will just kind of click these laps off in a quick hurry. They're going to be running some really fast lap times and inching closer and closer to the end of the second stage here, and then being able to duke it out throughout the rest of this feature event. So we'll see. I mean, stage points always make these drivers run a little bit tougher, a little bit rougher out there. So in the last 10 laps or so, from lap 80 to lap 90, things are more than likely going to pick up. They're going to heat up quite a bit here towards the front of the field. Drivers are going to try to make moves, try to make something happen here. They're trying to work themselves at a couple spots more forward and get a few extra bonus points in their back pocket, knowing that the playoffs are right around the corner, and each and every one of these drivers know how important the points are, and hoping that they can work it out, put themselves into a good spot here after this feature event. As Atlanta, this is our final playoff race, or regular season race, our final regular season race here this evening. So that's gonna make things really fun. That's going to make things really fun. Let's take a look here. See if we can pull up the point standings. See them on Sim Racer Hub. So Fisher, I believe, is locked in, and I believe missing this race. If there isn't a drop week or a couple drop weeks, I believe Fisher may not win this regular season championship. Joseph Smith, only 9 points behind him here. Smith got some stage points there, looking to get some more stage points here in stage number 2. And I think just showing up will earn him enough points to potentially leapfrog Jordan Fisher here for the regular season championship. So for Smith, man, a great first half of the season in the regular season, and able to work his way into what could be the regular season championship here tonight. Matthew Wood back in third. I think he's kind of locked into that position. I think he's far enough in front of Applegate, but too far behind Smith to kind of roll forward. I think between Applegate and Burbage, it's definitely a close battle there. Burbage only about 9 points back of Applegate here for some stage points. Jaden Browder's had a bit of an up and down day, and unfortunately been a little bit deeper in the pack here with some damage. He's kind of falling back here as well. He now sits 6th in the regular standing season. Jack Buelte may have a chance to leapfrog a few of them there as well, especially if Applegate, Ruggle-Bruggy, Browder kind of don't have anything going for them. Evan Stewart's right there as well. He's not too far out of that battle. And then we do see Landon Burbage, Colby Wells, Austin Thompson, Ryan Haller all inside our top 12, feeling pretty here. And I believe the cut is at 16. So Aiden Lucas, Stephen Blevins, Wyatt Mickelson, and Jason Bogart. Oh no, Bogart was right on the cut line. Jason Bogart came into this race 30 points above the cut line. All right, this makes things that much more interesting. Bogart came in 30 points above the cut line. Terrence Murphy, who is just below the cut line, is not here this afternoon. So I think of that aspect, Bogart is fine for the 16th position, but I believe there's one driver that still could be somewhat mathematically in the battle to steal that final playoff spot from Jason Bogart out there on the racetrack, and that is our current race leader. The number 8 ride of Trent Johns comes into this race 61 points behind Jason Bogart. 61 points behind him here. Oh man, I just don't know. I don't know if there's enough points on the table. I mean, you get the quickest lap, you lead the most laps. You didn't get the poles. We didn't get a point or anything for that for the 8 ride. But if he can win the stage, if he can, he had a good first stage. If he can win this stage, if he can try to maybe win this race, there may be enough points on the table that he could potentially work his way into our playoffs here this afternoon. Came in as a very huge long shot in for Jason Bogart. He finishes right now back in 26. Probably the one spot he could not finish this race was that 26th position. And unfortunately, being back there, it may still be good enough. He may still be good. I mean, if Johns doesn't win the race, then I think it'll be all for nothing. Johns basically needs to run the table here and have a perfect run to the checker flag to even have a chance at it. And I think for Jason, I mean, the damage that he had gotten to tore up race car, unfortunately took an early exit after only 22 laps of this race. Quite surprised we didn't see him trying to stick with it, try to keep himself out there, but obviously that damage was just too much and took it down behind pit wall, and now we just left it into the hands here for the 8 ride of Johns to try to jump out there and steal that final playoff spot from him, or give it up to him here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, look out! There they go! The big one out of corner number 2. Oh, so many of these drivers tied up in it. You do see Xavier Rugglebruggy. He's tore up. The 2 ride of Landon Burbage. Haller's in it. The 31. Joseph Smith is in it. Oh, no. There's a lot of damage here. Zay absolutely tore up here. Burbage, a lot of damage on the Prince Towing number 2 ride. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is not what you want to see. And unfortunately, right here. Okay, so door to door, Aiden Lucas, Landon Burbage, side by side. Aiden down low, the 34 up high. Looks like the 34, Lucas, maybe tries to come down. I don't know if this is a late move or if this is a good move. Obviously not that good because it did not work out for either of them. But let's take a look at it here. So Burbage is down low. 34 is kind of in the outside lane. Right here he's clear. He's clear. He can move down. It seems like he just makes the call a little too late. Starts to come down. The 2 ride gets a great run, and unfortunately for Landon Burbage, I mean, just not enough time to really realize that the 34 is still coming down, that he's moving into your lane. And for the 2 ride, you don't want to just give up that position, allow that guy in front of you. And unfortunately, contact's made. Once the contact's made, see the 2 ride start to trying to save it. He's sliding. And same with that 34 machine, and eventually almost got her straightened out. Then Blevins gets a piece of him. That just shoots him right up the racetrack, and that just gets the party started as he gets the contact from Blevins. Here he goes up the racetrack into the 5 right of Xavier Rugglebruggy. 15 kind of gets back into it there of Blevins, and then here we go. You see Jack Buelte tied up in it. Oh, the 64 ride of Trevor Dyer. Oh, that was a huge hit there for Trevor. Man, huge hit right there for Trevor Dyer as well. Let's see if we can take a look at this one. Almost through it right here. They're all watching up into the outside fence. Looks like maybe he's clear, but then Blevins and Buelty get tied together, and it just clips that right rear of the 64, shoots him up the racetrack. Big hit into that outside fence, and then so many of these other drivers still tied up in it. And as they exit corner number 2, you're going to see the 31 and the 34 get back into it here. So I believe you're going to see Aiden Lucas as he's trying to save this thing. 31, Ryan Smith gets back into him as they get tied together once, twice. They make some contact. The 98, Ryan gets sideways. He's around. Both drivers lock it down. I believe Haller slides through there as well. Now, I believe Haller didn't really get much damage out of this as he just gets down low. Man, this is a great shot at it right there. Bam. Just gets down low enough. Has to keep going, keep going. It's a little front end damage right there from the contact with the 31. And then tries to save it, save it, save it. Finally does loop it sideways there, but luckily enough, does not make any additional contact. So, luckily enough, not any more tore up race car there for the 60 ride of Haller. Then, yeah, I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse. And I mean, it was a whole lot worse for so many other drivers out there, man. There's a lot of tore up race cars out there on the speedway. Some of these drivers more than likely done for the day here in this one, man. Look at Trevor Dyer, the Roll Tide Alabama ride, just trying to squeeze his way through here. Oh, man, just gets clipped. Big hit there for him. Sees his PAN teammate sliding sideways there. Now, luckily enough for Thaddeus Friel, even though he went for a little slide there, I don't think any major contact or damage there for himself. Let's see if we can take another look at it here. Let's jump on board with Landon Burbage as go right into the cockpit here. I mean, the sunlight, the sun could have had a little bit of a play into it, but you get back into the shade right here. Oh, man. The big run at it, too. I just don't think he expected the 34 to be coming down. I don't think the 34 thought he'd get that big of a run and close the gap that quickly. And unfortunately, man, tore up. And unfortunately here, no quick repair. So for drivers like Landon Burbage, parked down pit road trying to get this thing fixed up. Trevor Dyer, see the smoke rolling out of that race car. He's back there in 22nd. And you do see the number 5 of Xavier Rugglebrug. He's still parked down there as well. As here we go! Back to green flag racing, and this field is gotten pretty thinned out, as this will be, I believe, a one-lap shootout here to end our second stage of the day. Trent Johns out in front, able to get a great launch, great restart, jumps right back in front of Matthew Wood, as Wood gonna keep on trying to keep everyone back there at bay and try to keep this 8 machine out in front. And for Trent Johns, nice and easy, back down and across the line, he will pick up the stage win. So Trent Johns wins our second stage of the day. Whoo, baby. All right, Trent Johns, man, he's a man on a mission out there. Let's take a look back here as well. The original first stage coming to a close, I believe, back on lap 44. They're going to be ranking back behind him. Right there, Thaddeus going around, all these other drivers going around. Who's out in front? It's the 8 rider, Trent Johns. We talked about how he has to run the table. He has to have a perfect race here this evening to give himself a chance, a shot at trying to pick up the final playoff spot out there on the speedway, the final playoff position, if he can potentially gain that 61 points on Jason Bogart here this evening. It may take a miracle, but he may be able to get it done. 2 stage wins. The 8 ride's got the speed. He's got some help to his back bumper. It seems like Matthew Wood is pretty locked in with just sticking with him, trying to push that 8 ride into what could be a playoff berth here this evening. I think a lot of these other drivers are going to have to try to game plan for that, as Jack Buelty, Cooper Goodwin back there in 4th, Evan Stewart, Aiden Lucas, Thaddeus Friel Jr. Friel does come home 7th in that stage, so good stage there for him. Ryan Matthews, I believe, got some stage points. A few of these other drivers, I mean, picking up some massive stage points there as that caution flag was thrown. They were able to squeeze their way through it and keep themselves in a good position and picking up some good stage points there. So good shout out there to some of the other drivers a little deeper in the pack there. But here we go. Battle back off of pit road. And again, it's another quick pit out of the 60 rider, Ryan Haller. It's going to give Haller the race lead once again. Cooper Goodwin will be second here. He comes out in position number 2. Trent Johns, our stage winner here in stage 1 and stage 2, sweeping those stages, comes out of the pits in 3rd. Brian Matthews back in 4th with Thaddeus Friel Jr., Nick Jensen, Joseph Smith in 7th, Gary Rose back in 8th, and then we will see Aiden Lucas, Michael Ponder Jr., Nicholas Wheeler, Stephen Blevins, Ben Needis back there in 13th, Evan Stewart just rolling back out there in 14th, Jack Buelty 15th. Matthew Wood is still down pit row. We haven't seen him roll back out there. For Kobe Wells, got the lucky dog, the free pass back on the lead lap. So it's a great break there for Wells to get back into the action. We do see Applegate still down there for a little bit of an extended stop. Same with the 51 of Mickelson, trying to get his car repaired. Browder's trying to get some more damage fixed up on his race car. And unfortunately, you do see Landon Burbage still parked down there on pit road. You do still see the smoke coming out of Trevor Dyer and Xavier Ruggle-Bruggy's cars. I feel all 3 of these drivers are probably done for the day. Even if Landon or Trevor were able to get back out there, I don't think that there's enough cautions or enough time for them to probably regain 8-9 laps and get themselves back on a lead lap and back into the battle. As Greg Dyer is in the chat, does give us the update, says Trevor is out. Thaddeus is still charging. Got some stage points there as well for the beautiful number 98 ride. Obviously not in the points battle, but being able to keep on battling, getting some stage points there still makes them feel a little bit better from the 2 earlier incidences there for the 98 machine. But a heartbreaker there for Trevor Dyer, early exit here in this race, and I believe a few of these guys are joining them there with Burbage and Xavier Ruggle-Bruggy. I don't think either of them are getting back out there. Austin Thompson also done. Actually, no, Thompson's still rolling here. Austin did come back down pit road, got a lot of damage repaired on this 23 machine. Now, unfortunately, he still sits about, I don't even know what, 14 laps down out there on the racetrack. I don't think there's a world where we see 14 more caution flags, but, I mean, stranger things have happened. But for the Manchester Tank number 23 ride, fortunately, multiple laps down, but sticking with it. Maybe he can try to help his teammates out, or somebody try to find victory lane that he wants to help out, and we'll see how that plays out for him. As here we go, Haller, big restart, big launch right there for the 60 ride, as Haller out in front as our final stage of the day gets underway here from Echo Park Speedway. Just over our halfway marker here in this feature event. Haller up on the top shelf, but here comes Trent Johns right back down low, looking to work his way back to the point as he slides in front of Haller. Haller will push him down across the line, and it's Trent Johns back out in front, man. All right, it seemed like Johns, whether it's Matthew Wood to his back bumper or any of these other drivers, he is not shy. He is not worried about making some moves and trying to keep this 8 machine at the front of the field here. Even though it's a do-or-die race for him, and one mistake, one bad hit could take you out of it, could take his playoff bid and throw it right out the window here, even after sweeping our stages. May not give himself a shot late in this race if he gets tied up in a big one out there on the Speedway. But so far, I mean, being at the front of the field, he's been able to dodge all of these bullets and able to keep himself rolling here at the front of the field. And I think he's trying to keep it that way. As you do see Trent Johns out in front, but here comes Holler working his way back down low and able to just battle door to door with that number 8 machine. He's got the 98 of Thaddeus Friel Jr. right there behind him. So Thaddeus, he's right up there, man. If you would have asked him probably about 50 laps ago if he'd be up here battling for this race win, I think he'd probably say absolutely not after getting turned around, getting a good amount of damage and running into quite a few issues in that VAN number 98 ride. But here he is in that third position, all over the back bumper of our current race leader, Ryan Holler, as Holler continue to keep on keeping him out there, keeping him at bay, and trying to keep that 8 ride from potentially finding victory lane here this evening. As Holler says, come on, cheese it is, oh, look out, there goes Wells. Oh no, heartbreaker there for Colby Wells. Looks like Jaden Browder may have gotten something here as well. Browder's car is absolutely tore up. I think Browder may be done for the day. Let's play it back, see what happens here. Browder's back there, deeper in the pack, but he's running into some connection issues. See if we can get a look at him here. So there's Browder down into corner number 1. Oh, man, what in the world? Did he just blow a tire? What in the heck just happened here to Jaden Browder? This thing absolutely took off. This car just shoots up the racetrack. Something had to have broken underneath that car, a flat tire or something. You see the sparks quickly coming out of it as that thing flies up the racetrack. Hard contact into the outside fence, and that car is absolutely toast. His day probably done, but then all of a sudden, you see the 45 well stuck in the middle. The 22 right at Gary Rose sideways here. He's got Matthew Wood all over his back bumper. Matthew actually goes up to that third shelf here. He's already kind of up there. Wells in the middle. The Culver 66 and Enos down low. They're 3 wide. There's Browner into the fence. And then Wood tries to get to the outside of the 22 at Gary Rose. Rose kind of tries to get up there in front of him, either hoping to get a block or just trying to hope to get a run here out of the 16. There's contact, or almost contact between them. The 22 just gets loose, and then 45 bounces off Wood, bounces off the 13 right upon her, and unfortunately down into the infield fence. Really big hit there for Colby Wells, man. That was a huge lick right there. Left front and front end absolutely tore up on this 45 as well, but he's stuck with it. He's still rolling out there, but you can see the damage that is dealt to this 45, and that's going to affect his ride all evening long. I'm not sure if that thing's going to get fixed up and have a chance to continue here this evening. I do know that Jaden Browder took in his car back down behind pit wall. Now for the 23 of Austin Thompson. He has regained a few more points here as he's now leapfrogged Xavier Rugglebrunky, Trevor Dyer, and Landon Burbage as they are still all down pit road as we do see some more smoke. Somebody else may have just went around. We're looking for it. It looks like it may have been the 34 of Aiden Lucas, and Lucas, oh no, looks like he's got a lot of front end damage here on this 34 ride as well. Left front definitely tore up, and there you go. He's able to steal the race lead. He's got the profit. Joseph Smith on his back bumper. Smith just kind of shoves him out of corner number 2, and it hooks him down the racetrack and puts him into the infield fence, and that was a huge, huge hit. Left front absolutely tore up here. You can see how it's kind of pushed in. And that car is definitely not going to be going very fast anytime soon. Crew's going to have to do a lot of work to try to get that thing repaired and back into decent racing condition here as Joseph Smith does continue to hold on to the race lead here. He's got Trent Johns right there behind him as Jamal in the chat says, let's go, Joseph. 31, fast and steady out in front and leading the charge right now, but he's got a lot of fast and hungry drivers back there behind him as we do see Sher Holler. She says, crazy tonight. Crazy is correct. I think it's just the intensity of Echo Park Speedway, the racing that this place kind of produces with the 1.5 mile super speedway aspect of it, and then obviously our regular season finale For any of our playoff drivers, this is their last chance to move forward or to fall backwards out there. So every single point, every position you can get to try to put yourself into a better spot heading into our first playoff race next Saturday or Sunday, you know, could be a whole world of difference. So I think for a lot of these drivers, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping to find that extra luck, hoping to find that extra groove. And I think one of those, we talked about him, is that 8 ride of Trent Johns. If he can somehow pull out the win here, may be just enough to leapfrog Jason Bogart, who unfortunately was the first driver to DNF out of this race here this evening. As Hannah says, oh, that's a shame. She said, that's a shame. Oh, come on. Poor Aiden. Mr. Lucas out there, man. Tough break for him. Tough break for him. Still on the lead lap, though. I mean, if he catches a caution flag, the crew gets a few laps to try to get that thing repaired, may be able to get back into it. Mickelson, I think, is in the same boat here with this 51. Still quite a bit of damage here on this race car. He's lost the draft. He's going to need some, extra help out there to try to keep himself on the lead lap, as our race leader is not too far away from potentially putting him a lap down out there on the racetrack as well. Colby Wells, though, has fallen a lap down. He is now currently scored as the first driver 1 lap down out there on the Speedway, as Zay in the chat says, wonder why that happened to him. Wonder why that happened to him, he says. Yeah, I wonder. It's a potential. I'm not too sure, but it could have been something. That is for certain. But we do see Smith, though, out in front, continuing to lead the charge here. But he jumps down low in front of Blevins. All of a sudden, Nicholas Wheeler right there on the back bumper of Trent Johns. And Johns looking to try to work his way out in front here once again, hoping to try to take over this race lead. But now we see a pair of Chesapeake Racing teammates get lined up there in that outside lane again. But Smith does give up the top spot, does fall back into position number 2, but that does move Trent Johns back to the point here this evening. So that's just going to make things a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interesting here as they continue to click these laps off, and we inch closer and closer to our checker flag here this evening. It's nice and easy down and through corner number 3 and 4. They'll put the number 51 of Wyatt Mickelson a lap down. Mickelson will quickly pull over to the apron right here, trying to let this lead pack go on by. Unfortunately, that will make him lose the lap, and he'll also lose the free pass position. The 45 rider, Colby Wells, able to keep himself in that free pass spot. He's able to hang on here in this lead pack right now. So, I mean, his day is not done. This race car can hang with him. I mean, if he doesn't run into any major mechanical issues or potentially, tire failure with the tire rub or anything else, or just something that could catastrophically take him out of this race. I mean, the 45 ride, if he can catch a caution flag that he's not a part of, could get in a lucky dog, could find himself right back on the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening in a quick hurry out there on the racetrack. But for Trent Johns, out front, but here comes Blevins down to the inside. Blevins in the Skyline Contracting number 15 machine, looking for the race lead. As they exit corner number 4, they'll drag race back down to the line, and from the 8 of Trent Johns will lead another lap here at Echo Park Speedway as we complete lap 114 here this evening. Hang on to it. That's Thaddeus Friel. Oh, Thaddeus very sideways, and now, look out, there goes Gary Rose as well. Oh, man, what is happening? Let's take a look back and break down what happened to the 98 ride first, as Friel running second in that inside lane. Not sure if he gets a little help at hand right here, or if maybe Evan Stewart, who's back behind him, gives him a shot in the shorts. They head down into corner number 1. He starts to come up the racetrack. Coming up the racetrack, I think he realizes that the car's pushing up, tries to pull it back down, and unfortunately, right when he does that, just kind of loses the rear end, gets sideways, hits the apron. Now, luckily enough, able to save it. He goes for a pretty good slide. He is still sideways even right there. Unfortunately for Gary Rose, I think Rose sees this happening. He sees the 98 ride sideways like that, tries to get up and out of the way, and as he kind of moves out of his line, Just lose the rear end, but great save out of the 22 ride as well. What in the world is going on here? And then here comes Wood, here comes Applegate. Ponder's right there with him. The 23 rides in there. Mickelson's in that group as well, and they just steam right on through those guys, split the middle, and work their way a little farther forward out there on the Speedway. But you do see our race leaders starting to run into more lap traffic. This time they're going to run into it. 3 wide as Evan Stewart's looking for the race lead. Luckily enough, Aiden Lucas does jump down onto the apron right here. Allows that lead pack to go on by. But man, it is getting very, very racy here in this one. And here comes Mr. Stewart as Evan will just slide in front of Trent Johns, and Johns will fall back to second. Evan Stewart now out in front, and here comes Ryan Haller. Haller working the inside lane himself. Big speed, big momentum down there. Even with 3 or 4 cars in that inside lane, no one directly to his back bumper. I think the inside groove is the place to be right now. I think that is going to be the place to try to get it done here in this one. As Anna says, Joseph, you got this. A good teammate there. Good teammate, good driver. I mean, Smith is definitely a good choice. I mean, any one of these guys, if you're still in the lead lap, I think you still got a shot at winning this race. I don't think we're going clean and green until that checkered flag, so you got lots of time still to try to make some moves and try to race your way into victory lane. Take a look at Nick Jensen, who's up there. John's still up there. Blevins, Brian Matthews. Ben Needis now up and into second in that Culver 66 as here they go. Back down and across the start-finish line, completing lap number 120 here this evening. So 120 laps completed, only what is that, 65 laps left to go. 65 more laps left to go here in this feature event, as we will quickly jump in to a Peacemaker Gaming Uncle Ronnie powered. Crank it up out there on the Speedway. Crank up that volume. Cheer on your favorite drivers as we will jump into our Crank It Up, powered by Uncle Rodney. Caution flag, caution flag. Yellow flag will be displayed here again. Unfortunately, looks like Ryan Haller tied up in this one here. Looks like Jack Bulty in the number 27 also tied up in it, but it starts at the front of the field. So Haller looking to try to take the race lead right here. It's a big run. Let's see if we get another look here at Haller in the run that he's able to take, because he's all over the back bumper pushing Trent Johns out in front. Johns been sitting there for the last few laps, but Haller gets a good enough run, gets to the inside of the 8 ride. The 15 goes 3 wide, and then they just kind of get stuck together right there. It looks like I don't know if that was a little net code, something happens, and unfortunately just they run out of room. John trying to keep himself out of the fence, coming down a little bit. Haller could have maybe given him a little bit more room, but I just don't know if they realized they were 3 wide, and unfortunately they run out of room in a quick hurry. And, yeah, you do see Haller get some pretty solid damage right there. Jack Bulty gets into him. The 35 right gets some pretty solid front-end damage as well, as he went right through the back bumper of that 27 machine of Jack Bulty, and there goes Bulty around. Haller down through the infield with him here, and it looks like... Woo! Mickelson just able to avoid it there and able to keep himself from getting any more damage, getting any more torn up out there on the Speedway. And luckily enough, the rest of the field able to get by before potentially getting collected in that one. So that was a good break there for him. But unfortunately there, a lot going on in a quick hurry with Haller making a big move. Looking to try to take the race lead. Unfortunately, him and Johns get tied together. Johns does get a piece of the fence there. Pretty solid damage for both Haller, Bulty, even for the number 35, right, getting some really solid front-end damage on his race car again out there on the Speedway, and that will put us back under the yellow flag, and that will stack us up here for another big restart. We talked about it just prior to jumping into the Uncle Rodney Crank It Up there, is that we did not expect this one to go clean and green here the rest of the way. We kind of figured that these caution flags would fly. Now the big question mark will be is how far apart will these yellow flags be, as you still see pit road very busy down there. A lot of drivers trying to get repairs, including Jack Bulty. You do see Matthew Woods back down there as well for an extended period of time. You do see the MTL machine of Michael Ponder Jr.'s down pit side. Haller's down there trying to get his car repaired. Here comes Cooper Goodwin rolling back out there. The 51 of Wyatt Mickelson rejoining. Here comes Colby Wells as well. Looks like a lot of damage on that car is fixed up. Jack Bulty's going to roll back out there. I believe Aiden Luke is still down pit side here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if we're going to see him rejoin this race or not. He does have a black flag as well. Too fast down pit road. The 23 of Austin Thompson also back down pit side. We'll see if Austin rejoins this race and keeps on battling here this evening himself, or if he may hang it up here this evening. We'll see, how that plays out for him here today. But we will get them all stacked up and ready to play once again here. Out in front, it's Stephen Blevins and Nick Jensen, 1 and 2. Evan Stewart rolls there in 3rd. Trent Johns in 4th. Joseph Smith and Nicholas Wheeler there in 5th and 6th. And we do see, I believe it is the number 66 of Ben Needus there in 7th. Thaddeus Friel Jr. in 8th. Gary Rose, Grant Applegate, Brian Matthews there in 11th, with Wood in 12th. You see Cooper Goodwin, Michael Ponder Jr., Jack Bulty, Ryan Haller, all still in the lead lap. I believe for Wyatt Mickelson and Colby Wells, both still a lap down out there on the racetrack. We'll need another quick caution flag and potentially another wave around to try to get either one of those two back on the lead lap and back into the battle here this evening. As of right now, they are still a lap down. And we did see Austin Thompson rejoin the battle here. Lucas still down pit road, though, as we go back. The green flag racing and back to our Uncle Rodney. Crank it up here this evening. So again, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here from Echo Park Speedway. a beautiful crank it up session here this evening presented by Uncle Rodney. As these drivers continue to keep on battling, keep on duking it out here this evening. At the point, it is the 15 machine of Mr. Stephen Blevins. Blevins leads the charge with Evan Stewart back there in position number 2. Stewart sits in that second spot and in a golden position here to try to steal this win away. Same with Smith there in third, but I think any one of these drivers still on the lead lap in this lead group, I think has probably a pretty good shot at trying to win this race. As right now things I think have gotten a little bit more cordial, things have gotten a little bit more easy breezy out there on the speedway. Drivers still pushing hard, still making some good moves, working their way around some of the lap traffic there as they're gonna move to the outside there of the Fish Speed ally number 51 of Wyatt Mickelson. Mickelson will fall another lap down, unfortunately, with that damage that he's kind of been dealing with all night long. Will unfortunately set him back a little farther here, and another lap back behind Kobe Wells and Cooper Goodwin, the other two drivers, one lap down out there on the speedway. For Michael Ponder Jr., he looks like he's out of this race. Ponder is taking that car behind pit wall and out of this race. For Austin Thompson, he's still rolling out there. Unfortunately here, he's by his lonesome, and he currently finds himself about 14, 15 laps down right now. So unfortunately, not really in it, but still out there, still clicking off some laps, and has gained some good positions and some extra points into his back pocket here throughout this race. Just sticking with it as you do see that second lane trying to get going. They're trying to get something built up there as you do see Nicholas Wheeler trying to lead the charge here with that outside lane. Unfortunately, just nothing biting right now. You do see that he's door to door with that 55 ride of Nick Jensen. Jack Bulty's right there behind him as there's the 27. Currently scored back in the 10th position as he's able to work his way around the 61. Oh, look out! The 61's around. Now the 35 rides around. No caution flag as of yet. Still clean and green, but for Nicholas Wheeler and Cooper Goodwin. Oh, man, Cooper already went a lap down and already ran into some issues here himself, but you'll watch the 61 machine. You got a good look at it right there. It just seemed like he tried to shoot down to the bottom here. You realize, okay, I don't have a whole lot of help. I don't really have anywhere to go. So he tries to get back into the bottom lane, and unfortunately, when he does so, I'm just going to lose the rear end right here. Haller gets a bit of a piece of him, but luckily enough, not too much damage or really any damage at all. We can see how sideways this 61 ride is. It just goes around on him. A little extra help there from the 60 hauler. Just nowhere for him to go. That was a big, big hit right there for that 61. The Napa Auto Parts ride hard into that infield fence. Unfortunately, I believe that may end his day. And I believe for Cooper Goodwin, his hit may also end his day. As there's an oil leak right there, or I don't know, he gets sideways right there at the same time. I don't know if he starts to see the 61 going around and then just makes a big move, but man, that was a huge hit for him as well. Big hit into the infield fence there for the Monster Energy 35 ride as well. And I believe for Cooper Goodwin, he's already taken his car off the racetrack and potentially out of this race. For the number 61 of Nicholas Wheeler, here he is rolling down pit road. Now he does have the damage repair flag as well, so that normally is a very extended period of time down pit side, and may not be completing this race. They're dropping like flies, and we still got plenty more to go to see, who's going to be able to make it here to the end, who's going to be able to find their way up and into victory lane. Blevins right now out in front leading the charge. He's got the outlier Speedco number 37, Evan Stewart there on his back bumper. Joseph Smith rolls there in third. Ben Needis back in position number 4. Gary Rose now into fifth here. Jack Bulty, our pole sitter, sits in position number 6. Thaddeus Friel Jr. there in 7th. Grant Applegate, Trent Johns, Ryan Haller, Matthew Wood there in the 11th position. Nick Jensen scored back in 12th with Brian Matthews in 13th. Kobe Wells scored in 14th. First driver a lap down out there on the racetrack. Wyatt Mickelson, the first driver, multiple laps down there, that 51. And then I believe you're still going to see Austin Thompson rolling out there. But here comes Thompson. Looks like he's headed down pit road here to make a green flag pit stop here late in this race. We'll see if he continues on or if he may call that a day for the number 23 machine, because I don't know, he's running out of time here to be able to gain any kind of positions back. If he doesn't stick with it, if he doesn't roll back out there, he may not get a chance to leapfrog a few more of these drivers, especially with Goodwin and Wheeler both potentially now done and out of this race. I mean, there is a couple extra points on the table there for Austin to try to leapfrog and gain out there on the racetrack. And I don't think these guys are done wrecking yet. I think we're still going to see something. And, oh, man, it was close right there. Gary Rose in the 45 of Wells. Man, there was a slight bit of contact there as Rose came back down the racetrack. And I thought for certain he was about to get that 45 right bent all out of shape. Luckily enough, Wells able to hang on to it. They both keep it rolling in the right direction as you see Haller work his way right back up into this battle. But you take a look at Applegate, who's still back here. Trent Johns, who won both our stages there in 10th. He's lined back up with this 16 machine of Matthew Wood. We'll see if they can get wound together here and make a run to the front and try to put this 8 right up in victory lane and potentially our final playoff position here this season. But Blevins at the point here, man. This Skyline ride has, he's been mid-pack for a lot of this race, but later on has made some right moves and working his way to the point here. I mean, sometimes it's the best place to be. Sometimes it's the worst place to be because you may find yourself as a bit of a sitting duck out there on the racetrack late in this race. But for the 15 round right now, he'll take it, lead some laps, keeping himself out in front. Evan Stewart rolls there in second. Smith is in third. Ben Knight is there in position. Number 4 is now, oh, here we go. Blevins washes up the racetrack through 3 and 4. That may get the party started as we got 20 laps left to go here in this feature event. 20 more laps left to duke it out, unless if we head to NASCAR overtime here this evening as Johns shoving that 37 right Evan Stewart here, trying to get him in front of Blevins here. Blevins, luckily enough, able to get picked up by the 66 ride of Ben Needis, and you do see Thaddeus Friel Jr. jumps to that outside lane with him. Now here comes the 22 of Gary Rose, the number 71 right of Brian Matthews, all trying to get the outside lane, kind of getting built up a little bit, but now, oh, hang on to it. Oh, no, more drivers tore up. Matthew Wood this time tied up in it, and there is the caution flag. Evan Stewart, Matthew Wood, looked like potentially all are getting a little bit of damage in that as well. Let's take a look back and see what happened. As, man, we saw Stewart. I mean, he was getting shoved hard by this number 31 of Smith, and you got to imagine that this is probably where this kind of starts, and there it is, down into corner number 1. Oh, man, maybe the 66 coming down a little bit right there as well. Let's take a look at it. Oh, yeah. So the 15 ride's looking to try to shoot down in front of Evan Stewart, and it looks like Ben Needis just tries to follow through with it here. Tries to go with the 15. I think he thought he was clear as well. He was definitely not clear and just slams in to Evan Stewart. Evan really just nothing he could do. Just got absolutely body checked into corner number 1 right there, and then he's trying to hang on to it. Everyone else now trying to break and get out of the way here, and unfortunately you can already see these guys kind of 2 wide, 3 wide, little 4, 5 wide right there, and unfortunately you do see Haller get slight contact on the left front there. We'll see if that causes major damage there for him, but Trent Johns, Matthew Wood, teammates that have been working well together all night long, they get tied together as they try to split up the racetrack. They're trying to avoid it, so they try to go high. Wood jumps up to the middle. The 8 ride now has to go high. Him and Haller make contact. He bounces off a Haller up and into the 16 of Wood, who then gets into the 51 of Mickelson, making his car a little bit more tore up right there as he's already gotten a lot of damage dealt to that race car. And then you finally see Wood's car goes around, makes some more contact there with the outside fence. Goes for a slide there. Stewart still sliding, and unfortunately, caution flag does fly once again. So another yellow Another big one there. A few more drivers tore up. You see Evan Stewart trying to hit his pit stall, hoping the group can get some work done to that race car. Haller's down there trying to get his car fixed up and back into one good piece. For the most part, looks like it's fixed up pretty nicely. Woods down there, same with Colby Wells, who I believe got the lucky dog back on the lead lap, so move Wells back into the battle. Stewart's still in it. We'll see if he gets rolling here, but Mickelson looks like he has towing his car down behind pit wall. I'm not sure if we're going to see Mickelson get back out there, man. That's a lot more damage dealt to that 51 machine. Wheeler, unfortunately, looks like his car is cooked. He's still down there. Cooper Goodwin has taken his car down behind pit wall. And for Austin Thompson, for what could have been a fairly early exit in this race with the amount of damage that this 23 ride had, stuck with it, win a few laps down, a lot of laps down. He is in line here for the wave around, at least get a lap back. But if Mickelson, Wheeler, and Cooper Goodwin do not rejoin this race, Austin Thompson could find himself coming out of this race with a top 15 run, which is a whole lot better than finishing back in 23rd, 24th out there on the racetrack, just staying with it and picking up all the scraps here through all the other carnage out there on the racetrack, as we'll get them ready to rock and roll, ready to get back at it here in this one. It's Joseph Smith who's got the race lead. Ben Needis there in second. Jack Bulte's back in third. Stephen Blevins there in position number 4. Thaddeus Friel Jr., his ups and downs throughout this race, and somehow has this VAN 98 ride up inside our top 5. Looking to try to score a big win here this evening for the team. Gary Rose back in 6th. Applegate scored in 7th with Brian Matthews, Nick Jensen, and Trent Johns rounding out our top 10 here for this restart. Ryan Haller, Matthew Wood there in 11th and 12th. Evan Stewart scored back in 13th, and Colby Wells in that 14th position on the Speedway. The 23 machine of Austin Thompson did get the wave, so he does get a lap back and will tag on to the tail end of this field as we get him ready to rock and roll, ready to get back into it here in this one as Grandma Rugglebruggy in the chat says, what Anna says, I'm for. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Yes, she's cheering on. Joseph here this evening, wanting to see this 31 ride find victory lane as the Chesapeake teammate there to Landon and Xavier. And out front, carrying the torch here for the Chesapeake Racing teammates is unfortunately their other teammate, Nicholas Wheeler, down behind pit wall with them here this evening. But Smith carrying the torch, hoping to try to keep this 31 right out in front. They get a good launch, good restart there. Inside lane, able to keep on rolling. And here we go. We see Ryan Haller. He says, all right, I'm not done. I want this win. And he jumps right to the outside and hoping to try to get some takers to go with him. As, oh, look out back behind him. Oh, Blevins is around. Oh, man, that car is absolutely tore up. Such a good run here in the second half of this race in the Skyline ride. That may have just did him in right there. Oh, man, another big hit. Looks like another car potentially done for the day, and I believe just 3 wide right here. Needis kind of roll in the middle. He's just in front of this number 15 ride. If you watch Blevins, you're going to get a great look. 66 kind of goes up the racetrack right here. 16 jumps into the middle. Jensen goes to the middle. 66 keeps going more and more to the top shelf. Blevins gets into the middle groove right here. Starts to work his way around him, and then I just think the 66, almost like what we saw between him and Evan Stewart, just kind of comes down the racetrack and unfortunately just kind of misjudges where the cars are to his inside and drives right on into the right rear quarter panel of the 15 of Blevins. Here he comes down the racetrack, still coming through the 15's right rear, and it just hooks Blevins around. And man, that was a huge hit there for him. Big hit for the 66 into the fence there as well. As I believe Blevins, this one may have killed his car. His day may have come to a close right there with that contact. So tough break right there for the 15 machine. As we'll probably see him still parked down on the apron. Looks like he's probably about to tow that thing down pit side. As I don't think that car is going to make it back to pit road, so he's going to have to tow it here. We do see Neatis down pit side. Trent John's back down there as well, looking to try to get some more repairs done to his number 8 machine, hoping to try to get anything fixed up, hoping to make sure this car is absolutely perfect and ready to go as we'll get ready to get back into the action, back into the battle here this evening. As and we started with, what, 26 cars? We don't have that many rolling out there anymore, chat. They have been dropping like flies here in this one, as Hannah says, Joseph, you can do this. I have faith in you. She's got faith in you, Joe. She's got faith in you. Elle says, go Ryan, Joseph, and Ryan. Yes, sir, there it is. Cheering on Mr. Haller and Mr. Smith. Right now, Smith leads the charge. Haller rolls in 5th there, making a big move. Going to the outside lane, just need a little bit more help right there, and maybe had a chance to make a run to the front right there for Haller. I mean, that's a great move to make, especially on this restart, because there's no more holding back here, chat. When we go back to Green Flag Racing here this evening, it's probably going to be a 5-lap shootout to the checkered flag, and that's if we don't head to NASCAR overtime here this evening. So, for all these drivers, cards are on the table. The bench you've made, you gotta lay in it. Anything you got left in the tank, you gotta use it right here and try to work your way potentially into the winner's circle here this evening. So for Joseph Smith, out in front, continue to lead the charge. He's feeling A-okay here at the point, but he does have our pole sitter, a car that's shown a lot of good speed. The fish speed, number 27 of Jack Buelty, there to his outside. Starting in that 3rd position here for the restart is Thaddeus Friel Jr. in that 3rd position to his outside. In the 57, it's Grant Applegate there in 4th. Back in 5th, it's Ryan Haller there in the 60. He'll have Nick Jensen there to his outside. Matthew Woods sits in 7th with Evan Stewart rounding out our top 8. Kobe Wells sits in 9th. Gary Rose there in 10th. And then we do see Brian Matthews, Trent Johns, and I believe the 66 of Ben Neatis has gotten back rolling out there on the Speedway. He'll line up at the tail end of the field here, and he'll get ready to rock and roll himself, ready to get back into the battle here today. But here we go. Y'all came for a show. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's Echo Park Speedway, man. It has been another amazing race, another amazing show. A lot of tore-up race cars, a lot of carnage and controversy out there on the Speedway. I'm sure there's going to be some unhappy campers after this race. But, man, oh, man, oh, man, it's been a fun one to watch. From the drop of the green flag right to this point, I'm sure it's going to be even more exciting in these final 5 laps of racing action as down through the restart zone, the 31. Joseph Smith, good launch, good jump, but the outside lane hooked together nicely. A pair of fish speed rides with Jack Buelty and Applegate right there tight together, pushing hard out there on the Speedway. But here we go, inside lane starts to get stacked up a little bit more. Here comes Wood, he jumps up to the 3rd groove. Wood's looking to make some moves. He's got the 55 of Jensen, who's gonna go with him. Unfortunately for Applegate, stuck in the middle, looks like he may get left high and dry late in this race, and he'll get shuffled back through the field there until he potentially finds a hole somewhere out there on the racetrack. Looks like Evan Stewart, Gary Rose, a bunch of these drivers trying to work their way through there as well, including that 8 ride of Trent John, stuck a little farther back at about the 11th position. Goes from the bottom back to the high side here in front of Rose. Looking to get to the back bumper there of Evan Stewart, but out in front, the 27 ride of Jack Buelty's got the race lead as Smith gets washed up to the 3rd groove. He's on the high side. No help there with him. Unfortunately for Smith, he'll slide all the way to the back of the pack for the rush hour karting ride. Now finds himself scoring about the 11th position, but it's not over yet. He's still got some time to shine. We'll see if he can pick and choose his way up and through this field as Wood still trying to get that outside lane rolling, trying to find something here to work his way potentially back into victory lane. But for Jack Buelty, he's out in front. He's got Friel right there with him. Haller rolls there in that 3rd position on the inside groove. Groove. Looks like Collar's going to stay right there, and here comes a big run from the 45 of Wells. Wells gives him a good shot. Big push inside lane. May roll a little farther forward as things continue to get tighter and tighter down through corner 3. Nice and easy out of corner number 4, and across the line we'll see the white flag. No, not the white flag fly. Sorry, this is 10-lap shootout. It's 185 laps, Aaron, not 180. We still got a few more laps here, ladies and gentlemen. Woo, doggy. So if this is intense as it was with 10 laps left to go, it's going to ramp up here 1,000%, chat, for these final 5 laps, the official final 5 laps, this time by the line. I thought it was 180 laps. It's 185, and we get that much more to enjoy here this evening as they're 3 wide here in the front of the field. Wood up on the top shelf. Beauty through the middle. Down low, it is the number 98 ride of Thaddeus Thriel Jr., and it looks like the outside groove is going to work their way out in front. Oh man, nothing for the 27 ride, nothing for the inside groove right there, and unfortunately they fall back like a rock as here comes Johns. He gets lined up with the 27 ride here at Beauty, now hooked up to his teammate Matthew Wood's back bumper. They're trying to find their way around Applegate right here. Applegate trying to hope that Friel can push him potentially to the win. So Wood continues to lead the charge. Applegate now scored in second, and our Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner, Trent Johns, rolls there in the outside groove, second in line. We'll have to wait and see if he can make a move, if he can try to find his way into victory lane, which could potentially punch his ticket into our playoffs here this year, as our regular season about to come to a close here in the next 2 laps, unless we go to NASCAR overtime. But we are about to see potentially the end of this race, and the end of our regular season is next Sunday. Our playoffs will get started. Trent Johns came into this race 61 points outside of the final playoff position. Bogart, unfortunately, did not have a good run, did not have a good race, comes dead last here this evening after an early DNF. With Trent Johns, he was able to win both stages as here we go. A lot of contact, a lot of big movement. Look out, Trent Johns in the middle as the white flag has been thrown. Oh man, Wood got up and into Applegate. That put Applegate into the fence, somehow still in it to win it. Wood's out in front. There goes Jack Beauty around. Wood goes up to the high side, throws a bit of a block here on Trent Johns. Johns hoping for a run, and here comes Applegate battling right back into it. He's going to give a big shove to the 8 of Johns as they'll drag race back to the line. No one will catch Matthew Wood, and Wood will pick up the dub here this evening. What in the world did we just watch? How in the heck did they not wreck across the line right there? That was wild, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look back at this one, because obviously you see Applegate gets a good run, gets onto the back bumper here of the 16 right, almost spins Wood out of corner number 4. Wood's doing everything he can to try to keep that thing in the right direction. They make a little bit more contact into the tri-oval right there, and it shoots Applegate up into the outside fence. That was a huge hit there for him. John sees it, gets clipped by Beauty, then they start to stack up. Here comes Holler, here comes Friel Jr. They're 4 wide, they're exiting the tri-oval here at Echo Park Speedway. Somehow or another, they keep their rides pointing in the right direction. They keep on rolling down through corner 1. See Evan Stewart up there. He's trying to give a shove to the 27. Unfortunately, it's turned around right there, having tied up in it. That's going to put them back there deeper in the field. So tough break right there for those 2 drivers. But then Johns, I mean, man, I think if the 57 ride of Applegate stayed with him right here, I mean, an incredible comeback. But right here, tries to go to the outside of Johns. I think if he would have stuck with him, might have been able to give him a good enough run and good enough push to maybe try to get a run to steal this win away from Wood. But unfortunately, Just kind of left him there. That allowed Wood to kind of just pull ahead, pick his lane, take that speed and momentum, and beat him across the line. And unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles here at Echo Park Speedway, man. What a run, what a race, what a performance. You do see Johns and Wood able to celebrate here on the front straightaway as Matthew Wood comes home with the checkered flag. It's Trent Johns who comes home in second. We'll have to wait and see if that's enough for him to work his way into our playoffs. Thaddeus Friel Jr., his incredible comeback comes home in position number 3. Now, we'll check iRacing scoring here as well, just to make sure it is correct, and that is correct. It is Matthew Wood, Trent Johns, and Thaddeus Friel Jr. Our top 3 here this evening, as Tonya says, come on, Bubba, number 8, cheering on Trent Johns. Comes home second, but I'm sure he loved that one extra spot. That could be the difference maker between him advancing into our playoffs or, unfortunately, being the first driver out of our playoffs here this season. Sure Holler says, this was crazy. So fun. Great track, great race, man. That was a hell of a show right there. As Holler says, also track weather up. Can't see a replay. Also track weather up. Oh, I did hit a button right there. I don't know what the heck I hit. What did I hit? Track weather. Was that it? Was there weather on right there? Maybe there was. I don't know what the heck button I hit, but hopefully that doesn't. Hopefully they didn't keep showing it. Hopefully you guys got to look at it. Holler says just missed the podium. Just missed the podium, unfortunately, right there for Holler. Still a great run. Great race, though. Solid top 5 performance there for Ryan here this evening. But Applegate, I mean, I don't know how Applegate was able to keep on going right there. That was incredible that he was able to stick his nose back into that battle, get himself right back in there. As Anna says, way to go, Matthew, man. Heck of a run there, Matthew. Greg says, way to go, Thaddeus. VAN rocks. VAN definitely rocks, baby. Filzer says, it wasn't Ryan. You're good. It wasn't Ryan. You're good. Okay. But man, heck of a show, heck of a race right there. And hopefully that wasn't up the whole race. No, it definitely wasn't. It was right as we were clicking onto it. I was going to a different camera angle. I think I hit the right button, but I don't know how that popped up. Nonetheless, we'll take a look back at it here after post-race interviews as we'll get ready to pull our race winner, Matthew Wood, up here into the booth. Hey, Matthew, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
I got you, buddy.
Matthew, man, what a run. What a race, man. Take us back through it. And what's going through your mind is it's a bit of a crazy one. A long one, a lot of carnage, and a lot of big moves. And somehow there in the final 10 laps, you're able to navigate your way back up towards the front here. And you're able to make the right moves at the right time and able to just hang on the big pushes from the 57 of Applegate to keep yourself pointed the right direction. And just enough speed and momentum to keep Trent Johns, Thaddeus Friel, and the rest of this field back there behind you as you get to celebrate the checkered flag here this evening.
Well, first of all, huge shout out to Trent. It's always been a dream to have me in. You know, I'm in a 16 car font. I'm in Greg Biffle font. He's in a Kyle Busch font. So special. We were 1-2 every stage, 1, 2, and 3. We were 1-2 in those 2 tributes. Big shout out to Aiden. I know he caused a lot of havoc tonight, but he was protecting us there in stage 1. Just, decided to wreck the field, unfortunately. Browder, fortunately, his controller, his PC crashed, and he had a horrendous accident, a Kyle Larson type accident. And especially Nick Jensen, he was blinking off and on, but he was helping me as much as he could. I was helping him. What a drive. Coming up through the field, I was being as aggressive as I possibly could be. Almost wrecked a few times, but I pushed as hard as I possibly could. Thank you all out there that support me. I know Anna's out there. I love you to death. That whole family is incredible. Layman's family, that is. everybody out there who supports Peacemaker and what you do, Aaron, for us. Um, Outlier Speedco, we make the best setups on iRacing. It's good to be back. I missed last week. I had to take a break. I was really down on myself. I've been very, very, very bad. Not good mentally. So it was good. It was refreshing to have a break, but now we're back. We're in victory lane again, and it's like I said, it's a 1-2 for the two tribute cars. So it's all I've wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you were looking for all night long, as we saw you working well with this 8-rider Trent Johns throughout this race, pushing him to both stage wins here this evening. And looking at the point standings, I mean, he came in 61 points back behind that cut line. Bogart, who he was chasing for that final position, you think maybe there's a chance there with the points that the 8-ride got enough that he may be able to leapfrog Bogart here this evening and steal that final playoff position?
How many was he back?
61 points.
He's gonna need he's gonna be probably 3 points behind him because he got maximum points besides the win. So he's gonna be I think about 5 points, 6 points behind him, and he's been having good runs. So I think he can get it. It's gonna be fun to watch those two fight because those two are some of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. So it's gonna be awesome to watch them race. Aiden's down there on the cut line. You got a bunch of guys that are fighting for it really hard. So just thank God for the opportunity and thank Him for sending Jesus Christ for us. But I mean, that was Jack Shack. We've been running a good program on super speedways. Jack Shack is the best on super speedways, and they've taught me a lot. And I'm their level head, I guess you could say. So felt that they've helped me a lot. So blessed to have them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, today was actually our final regular season race. So, unfortunately, there for Trent Johns, I mean,
I forgot about that.
A few points shy, then unfortunately his playoff chances are just going to come up that little bit short. But a hell of an effort for him there after the performance he had here this evening. And obviously, there at the end, you were helping him get both stage wins. He had built up a lot of points, and I thought for certain maybe he'd be able to, run the script here this afternoon and kind of get max points and maybe get enough to leapfrog that 17 ride here. And I thought maybe late in this race when you guys were starting to get lined up there again, obviously through some of the craziness, it was tough to kind of pull off, but I kind of thought maybe you would stick with the bottom lane through 3 and 4 and hope to see Trent maybe get a big run there out of 4 to beat you back down across the line and hope that, he was able to get the win here tonight. But you went for it. You want to win just as badly as you want to help him get into the playoffs, man. Kind of take us through that. Obviously, maybe you just thought maybe there was an extra race here for the regular season. What was kind of going through your mind there late in this race, knowing that things could have been tight there for him points-wise?
Well, I also didn't know that this was the final race of the regular season. But the other thing is, in that kind of situation, it's tough, right? But I'm representing Outlier. I'm representing Jack Shack. I'm representing all these different people, and I want to win for them as much as I do anybody. I got a lot of people that's behind me in this operation, so I want to win for them as much as I want him to advance. So I actually think it's going to be very, very close because I think it's up to 55 points now you get for the win, maybe 35 or something for second, and then but plus the stage point. I think it's going to be close. I don't know. We'll have to see because I'm not sure if we're running 2026. I'll see.
Yeah, definitely going to be close. Going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And if the 8-ride is able to leapfrog Bogart there for that final playoff position. But here tonight, man, it was a heck of a show by you guys. A crazy one, a fun one here. And as the carnage has kind of come to a rest and the smoke is settled here at Echo Park Speedway, Matthew, who'd you like to thank for another great run and big win here this evening?
Of course, again, Trent, Nick, Browder, Aiden, all those guys that kept helping push me. Grant gave me the biggest shove and got us clear. It almost was too much. I'm very, very sorry to Grant. I've already talked to him about it. I didn't want to wall him or anything, but I was literally seesawing off of 4. That was the craziest moment of my life because I'm seesawing the wheel back and forth trying to save it, but Of course, Outlier Speed Coach, ASR, everybody here at the league, and we'll go to the playoffs and hopefully get ourselves a 2 championships in a row. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to try.
Absolutely going to be another tough one, but it's going to be exciting nonetheless. And if it's anything like we saw here tonight, it's going to be crazy every step of the way as we head to Darlington for our first playoff race, a full-length Darlington race there at the Lady in Black. Man, how you feeling going into Darlington for a full-length NASCAR race there at that racetrack?
Well, if I know anything, me and Aiden were unbelievably quick in another league we did there. So, based on that, I think we had me and Aiden both. Aiden was actually faster than me on the long run, so he has a great shot to win this. I was racing against some top level guys there. I was keeping up until my internet cut out in the full length challenge. So back in middle or late spring. So I'm confident. I think we can go out there and get us 2 in a row, but only time will tell.
Only time will tell. That is absolutely right. We can't wait to see how it plays out for you. See if you can park this 16 ride right back up here in Victory Lane next Sunday night. Matthew, congrats on the dub here at Echo Park Speedway, man. We'll see you back out there in the next one.
God bless everybody. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matthew Wood, as Wood picks up the checkered flag and pulls the 16 into the Echo Park Speedway victory lane, as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the number 8 ride of Trent Johns. Hey Trent, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah.
Trent, man, what a run, what a race from you here tonight, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind as you're able to cross the line here in position number 2.
Yeah, I didn't feel that confident in practice. We was kind of far back there, and qualifying had it on pole for a little bit, but surprisingly managed to qualify 4th. But to be honest, I really couldn't have got those stage wins. I was trying to fight for it all I could and stay up to the front, but I couldn't have done it without Matthew. He pushed me a lot and helped me out a lot through the first couple of stages. But yeah, the car was just loose most of the time, especially once those tires start to wear out. There's a bump and going into turn 3, so that scared me a little bit. Had a bobble there in stage 3. Thought I was about to lose it, but luckily I managed to hold on to it. But yeah, it's definitely refreshing to finish up in the top 3, top 5, for me, because I've had some very bad luck the last couple of weeks. So hopefully, pray this will get me in the chase. I'm sure it'll be close, but yeah, hopefully it'll put me up there. I've been trying as hard as I could the last few weeks to make up points and just had some very bad luck.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple tough races, not being able to gain as many points as you wanted to, but here tonight, you gain a ton of points, almost max points really here on the evening with the 2 stage wins. You come home second there, and, really, really close. It's going to be splitting hairs to see, whether or not you were able to gain enough to leapfrog Jason Bogart, who comes into this race just really need to have a solid run, especially with Terrence Murphy not being here, to be able to lock his way in. When he gets tied up in an early issue, exits the race and takes himself out of it, finishing back in 26 at the rear of the field here. And that really opened up the door for you to kind of, run the table and try to maximize everything you could, and maybe just enough to steal that final playoff spot from him here in our regular season finale here this evening, man. Obviously, points are going to be really, really tight. It'll be interesting to see if you're able to squeeze your way in there, as you have shown some really good speed. And after tonight, obviously showing that, you and Matthew working together, I mean, it has clicked on something. Maybe, that'll continue right on into our playoffs and see potentially this 8 ride, have a good playoff run. Maybe even potentially try to battle there with Matthew for a championship.
Yeah, for sure. As much as I'd love to battle Matthew, he's pretty quick, but yeah, hopefully hopefully I can make that chase so we have a chance at getting up there somewhere. I feel bad for Bogart. It's truly unfortunate he got caught up in an early wreck. I wouldn't want to see that really happen to anybody. It's very unfortunate. I was kind of hoping to battle up until the end, but you know, as a driver and a competitor, it's it's good to see that just because it gives me a bit better of a chance to get in there. But yeah, Matthew, I've always respected Matthew. He usually is pretty clean. He's pretty quick. So I respect him, and hopefully we can work some more in the future. But for now, I'm just hoping, sitting here waiting for the points to release so I can see if I made it or not.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a nail biter just like this race, as it was a nail biter right down until that checkered flag. And here you are, being able to pick up a big, solid second place run, parking that 8 right up and on the podium there with Matthew Wood after your guys' great performance out there on the racetrack. Trent, who would you like to thank, though, for such a great drive and great performance here this evening?
I'd like to thank Matthew for pushing me pretty much all the way up till the end, and then I managed to give that back to him there in the last couple of laps. Ryan, I'd like to thank Ryan Haller too. He pushed me quite a bit there too. And shout out to my teammate Ponder for showing up and racing with me tonight. It would have been a little bit lonely out there. And shout out to my family who are watching this at home. I love you guys. It means a lot to me for them to watch me do this. I love doing this. So shout out to all those guys.
Absolutely. Well, it's teamwork and family that make the dream work. And here tonight, man, you come home with a very, very solid second place run. Whether or not you make the playoffs or not, man, we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack for Darlington next Sunday and seeing if you can park this number 8 machine right back up here on the podium.
Could only hope.
Absolutely. Try and enjoy the rest of your night, and congratulations again on the second place drive.
You have a good one.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Trent Johns. As Johns comes home in position number 2. Man, what a run, what a drive there for that number 8 ride. As Papa Slim in the chat says, that was better than the NASCAR race today. Good race, Trent. Great race there for Trent, and I appreciate that, man. We like to put on better shows than NASCAR. That is for dang certain. That is for dang certain. Holler says, shame, Peacemaker, shame. I expect perfection from you. I know. Sometimes, we do make mistakes up here, Sometimes we do click the wrong button, the wrong input here or there. Just be happy it wasn't the end stream button. That would have been a little bit worse. That's for certain. So we got lucky on that one, but Fisher says van rocks, and Trevor says hashtag get in the van. I'm all for FAN, which is the Veterans and Affiliate Network. I'm all for that, but Trevor, I don't know if that's a saying of theirs, or if that's just a hashtag you made, brother. If you're still watching, hashtag get in the van. I'm only getting in the van if you got candy, brother. That's it. That's the only way I'm getting in there. I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. But we're going to get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 98 ride. He is a van driver, a VAN, Veterans and Affiliate Network machine. The 98 ride of Thaddeus Friel Jr. As we'll get him up here into the booth for his third place performance here this evening. Hey, Thaddeus, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. That was a heck of a run, heck of a show for you here this evening. Obviously, things didn't get off to a hot start, got tied up and turned around, tore up there in a few early race caution flags, but you stick with it, you get the repairs that you needed, you keep on battling, you get some track position, and then here you are late in this race, just slicing and dicing with all these drivers and moving your way up to the front of the field here, and in a good spot late in this race to potentially try to steal this win away from Matthew Wood. Unfortunately, just not enough help down low, but you come home with a third place drive. Brother, take us back through it. What's going through your mind?
I had a couple wrecks at the beginning of it. Luckily, I locked it down. No real damage to the car. Took it in each time and had enough time to get it fixed to get back out there and, start moving.
Absolutely. Getting moving, getting things going, and there you are, being able to just kind of work your way up to the front, making some moves, and putting yourself up and onto the podium here this evening. But obviously, after those first couple spins, the damage that you had there, how bad was that damage? Did you think that potentially your night was going to come to an early close? Did you expect that, there was still a shot for you to be here at the end of the night and giving yourself a shot at potentially winning this race?
Well, I mean, I do better in adversity in most races. Like if I have some problems at the beginning, I don't know if I get angry or whatever, but I just kind of work my way back to the front. But that first wreck, I for sure thought that it was going to have a lot more damage than it did. But once I got to pits, the pits told a different story. With these cars, you never know what's going to happen. It's either you're going to hit the wall and your car's going to be done, or you're going to hit the wall and you're not going to get any damage. So it's really a crapshoot. So that first one kind of scared, it kind of worried me, and then I was like, all right, I got to kind of be safer for the rest of this race. And then towards crunch time, it was like, all right, we got to go.
Absolutely gotta go, and you were able to go and able to come out of it with a really, really solid finish there. But take us through kind of that final 10 lap run there after that restart. Obviously, there was a lot of movement, a lot of things going on, a lot of drivers beating and banging around you. You're trying to move through different lines, trying to figure out, somebody to work with. Unfortunately, your BAN teammate Trevor had already been eliminated from this race, so who did you have out there? Were you just working with anyone and everyone, or did you talk to a few of the other drivers, try to find some extra, friendly people to kind of help you out there a little bit late in this race?
Well, there were a couple of drivers. Like I was making note because once Trevor was out, he stayed in and kind of watched out for me, and you know, great teammate. Trevor's a super fast driver. So it was unfortunate that his day ended that early. But there's Steve Blevins, and unfortunately, may he rest in peace. That was a rough one for him. Um, and I think that the I want to say either the 27 or the 67 was up there. One of the two, I was working with him real well, but everybody kind of those last 10 laps, everything gets shuffled. You never know where you're going to end up. So I saw some daylight on the inside and did my best. And I mean, I'm not at all upset for not winning. This is a very high skill league. So coming in third, man, that's a huge boost for me as a driver to be able to go in with these guys and come out with a third place finish is phenomenal.
Absolutely, and it was a hell of a show that you put on for us, and definitely a well earned and deserved finish here this evening for the 98 ride. Thaddeus, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Well, obviously, I'd like to thank Trevor and his family. Greg and Melissa Dyer, his parents, they're super supportive of him. Obviously, I'm super supportive of him. My kids, Dyson Isley and Fort Tier, they're back with his mom. Their mom as of this weekend. But I love you guys if you guys watch this. My girl Val, because she supports me in doing this stuff and racing, and my dad helped me fix an air conditioner today because he's a Havoc tech, and wouldn't be here without him. But and then obviously the team at Veterans and Affiliated Networking. We do say get in the van. We say it more like EA Sports though, and less like like we're trying to kidnap somebody. But either way, it's still a thing. We're building a nonprofit for veterans that has everything to do with iRacing, and the goal is to get veterans who are into iRacing into a car. So if you want to learn how to drive, you want to learn how to paint, you want to learn how to do broadcasting, you can reach out to us at Veterans and Affiliated Network at gmail.com.
Let's go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If that's something you guys are looking into or something that you want to learn, then make sure you guys get a hold of, Thaddeus or Trevor and, go check out the VAN and make sure you guys, get pointed in the right direction here. Get some good help from good people, and that's an absolute amazing thing that you guys are doing, and love to see it here and being able to see, you guys get some good finishes. We've seen Trevor have some really good runs, have some tough breaks. Same with yourself throughout the first few weeks that you guys have been here in the series. And hopefully here tonight, some momentum for you and the team and many, many more good trips up here into the broadcast booth throughout the rest of this season. Thaddeus, great run, great drive here tonight, man. Congratulations on the third place finish, and we can't wait to see you back out there at Darlington Raceway, the Lady in Black, next Sunday night for a full-length NASCAR race there in Darlington.
Let's do it. I love Darlington. And shout out to Fish as well. Just wanted to add that. Jordan Fisher, appreciate you, bud.
Absolutely. Fish speed breaks, baby, right there. Thaddeus, great run, great drive, man. We'll see you back out there next Sunday, brother.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Thaddeus Friel Jr. as the VAN van. All right, he says say it a little bit more like EA Sports, but like EA Sports, get in the game, get in the van. I don't know. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that one. Like, you gotta have, like, van, get in the van? Like, this is like EA, get in the sport. Something like that. You might have to work on it, but we'll figure that one out. We'll get something spiced up there for you guys in the next broadcast for certain for the VAN. That is for certain, fellas. As Fisher says, thanks, Thaddeus. Awesome run, man. Awesome run. Awesome drive right there. Heck of a show by all these drivers, man. I mean, it was a little chaotic. There was some chaos out there all night long. There was always something going on. Some driver here or there having an issue, slipping and sliding, and made for a very, very exciting night of racing action and a lot of great fun here this evening in the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, and we can't wait to see all these drivers back in action again next Sunday night, and can't wait to see you guys back in the grandstands hopefully here tomorrow night, as we'll be back up in the booth for some more amazing racing here on Peacemaker Gaming tomorrow evening for our Monday Night League, and hopefully we'll see you guys tuning in for a little bit, even just popping in, watching for a few minutes, saying hello in the comments section. Helps the stream out a ton, helps us out a ton, and brings my spirits up a little bit. Monday blues, everyone hates Mondays, so the more and more people, the more and more of you amazing fans in the stands that show up and say hello and watch a little bit of racing action on Monday nights, man, makes our night that much better. But we appreciate you all coming in, showing the love, and tuning in here on this fine Sunday for another fine Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League event. And we'll see you guys back out there in the next one. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see y'all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Draft game strong, slingshot out the lane. Calculated risk deep in the veins. Checker flags, wave dreams on the brink. Fast decisions where you barely get to blink. Yeah. From amateurs to legends, it's all the same heat. One wrong move might sweep defeat. High octane stakes climb mile by mile. Peacemakers mic hot, added flames to the style. Speed demons on the track, hearts racing with the sound. Slide tight in the curves, sparks flying off the ground. Victory's a beast, it don't come easy. Wheel to wheel racing, the grind stay greasy. Greasy, the grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay greasy. The grind stay